King Charles, a symbol of British tradition and unity, rarely comments on the daily politics of the realm. But behind palace walls, when the country's democratic fabric is tested or when powerful institutions are shaken by hidden agendas, even the most restrained monarch can no longer stay silent. Today, the United Kingdom finds itself at such a crossroads. In a moment that has sent shockwaves through Westminster, Nigel Farage, the firebrand political figure known for shaking up the establishment, has unveiled a secretive plot allegedly orchestrated by Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer. The alleged goal: to block votes from Reform UK, the rising right-wing party that's been steadily gaining momentum and threatening to upend traditional party dominance. The report claims that internal Labour communications, leaked by a whistleblower, revealed discussions of backdoor manoeuvres designed to minimise the electoral impact of Reform UK. According to Farage, Starmer and key Labour allies have been colluding with sympathetic civil servants and electoral strategy consultants to exploit obscure rules and loopholes. These tactics, if proven true, could prevent Reform UK from contesting certain key constituencies, suppress postal ballots, and apply bureaucratic pressure that would make candidacy registration for the party significantly harder. Farage, never one to mince words, called it a full frontal assault on democracy. But what truly sent the headlines roaring across the nation wasn't just the accusation. It was the palace's response. Multiple sources close to Buckingham Palace report that King Charles, in private but stern language, expressed his deep disapproval over what he perceives as an emerging threat to Britain's democratic balance. While the king has always played a neutral role in politics, the monarchy is bound by its constitutional duty to uphold the integrity of the parliamentary system. And according to insiders, His Majesty believes that manipulating the electoral process, no matter how indirect or subtle, is a dangerous game that risks eroding public trust. Those close to the royal household claim that King Charles was particularly disturbed by the idea that millions of Britons who support Reform UK, regardless of one's stance on the party, could be systematically silenced. In his private study, reportedly surrounded by confidential briefings, His Majesty is said to have remarked, "This is not the Britain I recognise. The right to vote must be sacred." He has not yet issued a public statement, but palace officials hint that the king may seek a discreet yet firm meeting with key political figures to address the rising tension. Nigel Farage has seized this moment, launching an aggressive media campaign to force transparency and accountability. In interviews across major platforms, he framed the alleged plot as a desperate last gasp by a Labour Party that fears losing its grip on working-class voters. Reform UK is rising, he declared on one broadcast, and the establishment is terrified. Farage, clearly sensing political opportunity, called for an emergency parliamentary investigation into what he described as coordinated voter suppression. Keir Starmer's camp has strongly denied all allegations. A spokesperson for the Labour leader dismissed the reports as conspiratorial nonsense and a distraction tactic by a party with no credible path to power. Starmer himself, when pressed during a news conference, said, "We believe in a fair and free electoral system. Any claims suggesting otherwise are unfounded and politically motivated." However, critics have pointed out that Labour's refusal to support a full inquiry only adds fuel to the fire. In this swirling storm, public sentiment is increasingly polarized. Social media has exploded with hashtags like #VoteRigging and #ProtectOurDemocracy. Reform UK supporters are organising protests and rallies, some calling for mass civil disobedience if the election is perceived to be unfair. Meanwhile, constitutional scholars and legal experts are debating the implications of the leaked documents. Some believe there may be legal grounds to challenge upcoming election results if Reform UK candidates are found to be unfairly obstructed. Behind the scenes, Tory MPs are watching carefully. While many are ideologically opposed to Farage and wary of Reform UK siphoning off Conservative votes, they're also concerned about the backlash that could follow if the public perceives election tampering. A senior Conservative insider reportedly told a journalist, "We may not like Reform UK, but if they're cheated out of fair participation, it's a threat to every party's legitimacy." Adding to the intrigue, reports suggest that senior military and intelligence figures have briefed the Prime Minister on potential civil unrest if the allegations escalate. The prospect of a general election marred by scandal, accusations, and suppressed votes is painting a grim picture of a nation at the brink of political chaos. And through it all, the monarch watches. King Charles, having spent much of his life under the shadow of Queen Elizabeth's steady hand, understands the fragile balance between tradition and transformation. This isn't just about party politics. It's about the soul of British democracy. While the king may never take to a podium to lecture Parliament, his influence, both symbolic and quiet, is powerful. This eruption from the palace, quiet as it may be, has signaled a warning. When the Crown speaks, even in hushed tones, the country listens. Whether or not the allegations against Starmer hold water remains to be seen. But what's undeniable is the crisis of trust that now hangs over the United Kingdom. Farage has ignited a firestorm. Starmer is trying to douse it. And King Charles, whether he wanted to be or not, has become a subtle yet formidable voice in the fight for transparency. As the story unfolds, one thing is clear: this is not just another political scandal. This is a moment that could redefine the way Britain holds its leaders accountable. And in a democracy where every vote matters, anything that threatens that principle, even behind closed doors, must face the light. What are your thoughts on this political drama? Is it a real threat to democracy or just political theatre? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking updates.